Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Make Pods Great Again. I'm your host, John Woolley, content creator for the Instagram page Make Wads Great Again, here with my bestie, Nikki. Nikki, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Day of quarantine, so
Day 10,000 of the
yep.
quarantine. And our very special guest tonight is the woman who hates you all. No, I'm kidding. But the owner of Assault Bike, the bike that hates you all, Traci Bates. Traci, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks, guys, for having me. Really appreciate you being here.
How are you so nice? You created the most evil instrument on the planet, and you're just like the sweetest person ever. I have never been able to resolve those two things.
Don't let me fool you.
Yes.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Well, we'll dig into those inner workings then, and try to figure it out. Your bike's been kicking my ass in the basement, by the way.
Nice. And I love that comment, by the way, of it's closer to hell, probably closer to where it belongs.
Yes, that's
Oh my
exactly.
God, yes, so true.
I kind of want to dig a hole and put it in there just to get it closer to hell. It is amazing though. Like, I have two bikes in the house. I have a C2 bike that's upstairs in front of the TV because it's really easy to ride. Like you can sit there, like I pedaled on that thing this morning and did 15K on it. And I don't even blink. Like you just sit there and bike and it doesn't really hurt. You just sweat, And then there's the C2 bike in the basement that I go downstairs and
No, the assault bike in the basement.
the assault bike in the basement,
Yeah.
and do a 2115 9 watt of burpees and assault bike. And every time I got to put my butt on the chair, I'm like, oh my God, another 15 calories. And it hurts so bad. And it's like, it's the stimulus is so different.
Yeah.
And it's so effective.
Well, we had Steph Chung on the show a couple weeks ago, and she had said that in her opinion, the assault bike is the one thing that can get you fittest fastest out of like all the implements that she has been using in the past for games training, and it's the stimulus is just like John said. It's just like there's no way to have it not kick your ass. And when I walk into the gym and I'm super cold, I'm like, oh, I just need to do 10 cals on the assault bike and it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be warm.
It kind of sucks the life out of you no matter what you do with it. I was following I don't know if you guys seen like Assault University, and we have Mike Giardina is our director of education. So he's coming out with some really good programming. And so Saturday I was like, oh, I'm just going to kind of see what he posted. And it was just a little, short little wad on the bike of doing like a minute on, 2 minutes rest, and then 30 seconds on, a minute rest, and just going down. And oh my gosh, the whole thing was like 22 minutes, and it just sucked the life out of me. And my daughter was sitting out there, and I go, hey, why don't you come work out with me? And she's like, nah, I'll just do my homework on my computer and watch you. And she watched me for like 5 minutes. She's like, yeah, this is too much.
So
No way.
I do need you to explain something more to the listeners than to me, because I've figured it out now. But people keep messaging me like, well, what should I get? Should I get a C2 bike or should I get the assault bike? Because they know I have both. And they're totally different implements. And I made the mistake early on here's how I figured it out that they're totally different. Is I decided I was going to do this WOD in my basement. And I was like, I want to simulate Murph because I couldn't run. I can't get outside because I'm quarantined. And so I messaged Sax and I'm like, hey, how many meters is that? And I'm like, I'm going to do it on the assault bike because I got to do pull-ups and I need to be in the basement. And he goes, do 4,000 meters. I'm like, okay. So I start doing the math because I do a lot of math. And I'm like, it should take me about eight minutes or so, which is about a mile run, if you're running at a decent clip.
Yeah,
so it'll be fine, So I'm like, all right. Yeah, I'm like, no big deal. 4,000 meters. I do 15,000 meters on that C2 bike all the time. I was 1,000 meters in, ready to go run in front of traffic. It hurts so bad. Like,
well, yeah, because you would translate that to 8 minutes on the fucking assault bike.
No. Oh, I get that, but like I'll do 35 minutes on the C2 bike and not even blink at it.
Good
But
Lord.
but the 8 minutes on the assault bike hurts so much more. So can you explain to, like, I figured out why, but I want you to, the professional.
I'd be curious why you think. I mean, for me, I think it's the two-stage system where it has the two chains. So there's just a lot more drag there, and you're the motor. So it's the faster you go, the harder it gets, right? We all kind of know that. But it's like, if you go slow, like that's not the way out either. Like when you see athletes in competition, they go out fast because then you kind of get a little bit of momentum going. But I can't explain it in the sense of you cannot conquer it and you can't control, there's no dial, there's no there's no dial to go down or up, with tension. There's no magnetic resistance or anything. It's just the chain and you. So I want to know what you think. I mean, it's just a completely different, modality of what the mechanism that it uses to drive is.
Wait,
Yeah,
and
well,
then I think you tell it, and then I think I know too. So you go first.
well, so I explain it to people. It's almost like the assault bike has a second gear. Like when you hit that pedal, like when you're on the C2 bike and you hit the pedals, you just have this smooth, there's your feet just go. And once you're up to speed, you can just hold that speed. With the assault bike, it's almost like when you're pushing through, like I can feel it. It's not catching isn't the right word, but it's certainly like going through quicksand. Like it's so much
There's
harder.
no inertia to it. It doesn't have the
Yeah.
same inertia.
Yeah. And yeah, there you go. And as I pick up speed, to your point, it's even harder. So you like if you slow down, you get kind of behind the
That's harder
inertia.
too.
Yeah, then you're screwed. So
Mhm.
you have to hold a pace, and it's a pace you're not going to want to hold. And as you speed up, it gets worse. Like there's just no way out. And
Yes.
I've done so I started playing around with wads like that, by the way, then I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'll do 10 rounds and I'll have 1,000 meters at the top of each round. Cause that's in my mind. I'm like, that's less. It's only 1,000 meters. It doesn't matter. It still hurts. It all
Yeah.
hurts, but it's effective, really effective.
You had something? Did you say?
Yeah. So, and it's not, I didn't come up with it myself. I actually heard it from Chris Hinshaw, who runs the aerobic capacity training course. We had him on the show a little bit ago. And I mean, God, he's just full of so much insight and so many like cool athlete stories. If you haven't listened to that episode, I strongly recommend everyone go back and hear it. But the way he explained it at the aerobic capacity course is, it obviously, like you guys are talking, like the air catches, you pedal through cement or through quicksand, whatever it is, like there's no way to stop the burn in your legs. But when that happens, when you start to feel that burn, your body starts to dump lactic acid into other parts to kind of like flush it out and like allow your legs to keep going. So it'll like push the lactic acid up out of your legs and into another part of your body, another muscle group, so that you can keep going with your legs, even though they're tired. But because you're still pedaling with your arms, it doesn't allow the lactic acid to be dumped anywhere else. So you're basically in this like full body taxing system. And no matter what you do, there's no way to push through the burn. The burn keeps happening because it doesn't clear so that you can keep going. So it's just like it's a mental game at that point, because you're just like dead no matter what.
It is. And I've done that too, where you're like on it. I'm like, okay, let me just go legs for a minute. And they're like, no, my legs are killing me. And then it's like, okay, just some arm. And there's not. I think your best bet is really the push and pull
Yeah, it's
and the
gotta
stuff
be.
to get to the calories or whatever that goal is. And I have heard Chris talk about that before with the lactic acid buildup and all that kind of stuff. And there is no way out. It's just through.
I like that you, even though you own this company, you're like, oh, I've tried to cheat it too.
No, that's the thing is you can take like the best athletes in the world and you can't conquer it. Like they're better at it than the majority of us, but it still sucks.
Yeah, totally. I mean, look, we could gush about all of this equipment, how it kicks our asses all day long, but I'm so curious to know, Traci, for you, I mean, you're dealing with quarantine just the way that we all are, but you've got a little bit of a different perspective now, because everyone is sort of like rushing to equipment companies to get some shit in their own houses so that they can keep working out. So what has this whole experience been like for you so far?
Well, you know what? It has been different. I was interested earlier. John had said like, are you literally not leaving the house? Because like I've gone for bike rides. I go outside. I see people
Yeah, I've gone for
walking,
jogs and stuff.
But John, are you like literally sequestering yourself to your?
And I barely leave this chair. Barely. No, I get out. So I mean, I'm in an essential business, so I'm out in branches every day. 15, 20 minutes at a time. I mean, the CDC is still saying, just kind of limit your contacts. So I'm doing that, but I'm not at the gym. I kind of live in a metropolitan area. So there's I can't really go running without being around people. Like, so for exercise, it's all either in the basement or in my living room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For us, it's been, it is kind of interesting. And, I don't think the government has deemed us an essential business, but I think, fitness equipment companies like us have become essential during this for mental and physical health, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're bound home. I have friends that are teachers and they have kids and they've got to, do their teaching through Zoom. They've got kids that they also have to do homework with. And so that workout is an escape. And for us, I feel really grateful and fortunate that through this, that every one of my employees, we have been able to, everybody's working, right? We didn't have to lay anybody off. We have a whole team, like every Monday we have a Zoom meeting, and it's like watching a giant extended version of the Brady Bunch, and you've got all these little windows and it's like, okay, Bobby, go. Okay. And so anyways, it's been really nice. And everybody's just gone above and beyond, like from customer service, working weekends, working overtime, because yeah, I mean, we're selling a lot of bikes and runners, and even the rowers, like a lot of our rowers, because a lot of companies are running out of stuff and we've run out of stuff, but it just makes you feel really fortunate to go, we've got this, there's a lot of stress for a lot of people. And at least just in our little, in our little company, we're able to at least keep them working. They still have family stresses and kid stresses and all that. But just as a company owner and just as an individual, it makes me feel good to go, I feel so fortunate because I know so many people in the service industries and those kind of, everybody is suffering and struggling right now. And it's just a difficult, unprecedented time in our lifetimes. And everything's new, you know what I mean? Like it's like we said, day one of quarantine, and, it's, it's a lot. And then there's people that are completely isolated where they, you live alone, right? And whether you're working or not working, or you're laid off and you live alone, I mean, it's a lot. And I keep saying to everybody that I can talk to, I say it to my company every time we have a meeting, I say it to anybody personally, like, this is the time, reach out, talk to people. Like, you know what I mean? Even you might be thinking about somebody, just reach out. Just, you never know what they're going through, or that little gesture could be make or break in their life at that moment and stuff. So I just think it's really important that we all pull together the best way we can now.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And you're so right in that, like, all of the sweating in your garage and in your basement and the whatever is so very much a part of mental health for all of us who are into fitness and into working out, into whether you do CrossFit or not. Like, my husband just said it to me today because I am buried under work at my agency, and he's like, "Oh, maybe you shouldn't have gone to the gym this afternoon." And I'm like, "No, like, I needed it. It wasn't an option. Like, it." So the fact that you can provide that in a sense, I do think is very cool. That's a neat perspective. I hadn't really thought about it that way.
The assault bike is like a brutal therapist.
Yep.
It's like a therapist with a cattle prod. That's what it's exactly what it's like.
My hand and legs.
Yep. It's like the therapist that's letting me know that I've gained the quarantine 15. Like, brutally honest. Thank you. Thanks for that.
It's like the therapist when you tell it your problems, they just walk over and kick you in the balls. That's exactly what it's like for me.
Snap out of it.
Have you found, that's all good news about being able to keep your employees and being able to get equipment to people who need it. But have you found any issues in terms of, like you said, keeping things in stock, or like the supply chain, just because it's international? And what has that been like?
All of that has been, when coronavirus first broke out in Asia, I have to give my team credit. They really were forward thinking and moving containers and going, oh, this is going to be a problem. Shutdowns. And so we prioritized, making sure that we were filling our international distributors the best we could, but also prioritizing and moving orders out to come to the US. And even then, you just don't know. I mean, it's amazing the amount of demand that there has been. And so we still have run out of our classic bike. I think on our site, there's probably a 2 to 3 week lead time right now. And things may come in sooner, but we're just trying to err on the side of caution. But yeah, there has been a lot of that, because then there's there's the suppliers, and then there's the sub-suppliers. And so they might be ready to manufacture, but then they can't get to the, components because of different areas. So there definitely has been this worldwide, impact. And then we've got distributors, in 50 different countries, and, same thing. They're like, hey, when can we get equipment? So the supply chain had definitely slowed down. But even still, we have been squeezing out the best that we can, and kind of reshuffling and sending stuff we have a third-party logistics warehouse in Chicago, which houses the majority of our equipment, and they're deemed an essential business, which was helpful because they're open, and so we can still get them fulfilling and stuff.
A
So
couple weeks isn't bad though. A couple weeks to get, all that equipment
yeah.
in if you're really looking to stock yourself. But Traci, that is a lot of work. Your team must be like 24 hours a day reshuffling, trying to figure shit out as it happens.
Oh, constantly. And I mean, I'm telling you, like, it's just, I'm always so big about culture and company culture. And as we grow, we're not that big of a company. There's like 25 of us.
What?
Yeah.
What a common misconception, right? Like you seem like this global giant and you're
yeah,
like,
no, we're actually a small company here in Carlsbad, California. But we just have an amazing team. And we've had team that have been with us, some people have been with us since the beginning. But in this, I mean, people have just been amazing. I mean, my employees have come to work and taken their workstations home. They just like whatever it takes to get the job done. And it just makes me so appreciative of the collaboration and the team, because I've always said this, and it sounds corny, but I truly mean it. Like, we're literally all a cog in the wheel, right? It's not just me and my business partners, owners, and all. It's like, no, it's every single one of us has a job to do, just like, in each of your jobs.
mm-hmm.
It's the same. And for people, it's hard to get people to feel that, right? And that it's not just rhetoric. And I truly feel like my team is that way. I mean, they're just from accounting to customer service to shipping. I mean, our domestic shipping department, I feel it's just been tough. I send my daughter, my 20-year-old daughter's home from college. I'm like, hey, they need help. And she's filling out bill of lading. She's helping the warehouse, like wherever we can, just get it done.
Just putting her to work.
Yeah, well, it's important, because it's customers, right? Because the bottom line is, it's like you've got to take care of people. And even though behind the scenes there's all this going on and we're scampering and trying to do this, they're like, hey, I paid money. Where's my machine, right? And that's, and that's our goal, is just to do that and fulfill it to the best that we can. So, yeah, I mean, I can sing the praises of my company. Every single person is just, above and beyond.
Well, mine showed up so fast. My daughter told me I should send it back. As soon as it rolled in, she's like, it's not too late to send that back. I'm like, no, it's too late, baby. It's way too late.
It's here. It's happening.
Well, see, you're in Ohio and our warehouse is in Chicago. So that's probably like a next day destination.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it absolutely got here quick. And to the credit, I mean, it's going to sound a little bit like a commercial, but, like, I like putting things together. I like building stuff. Like, I'm kind of, crafty and, like to fix things. And we have a rule in this house that Woolies don't use directions ever.
Why does that not surprise me
Ever.
Even a little bit?
We don't ask for directions. We don't use directions. That's a rule. You can ask both my daughters. They will tell you. And I've been yelled at by both of them for years, because we'll go to Target and just wander around the place for like an hour while I'm looking for something. And they're like, you could ask the person in the red shirt. No, you can't. Just follow me. But anyway, so the bike comes and I put this thing together. I mean, no shit, 15 minutes. Like, it is so easy to put together. It was crazy how easy it was to put together. And what I was mostly worried about, because I was here by myself when it showed up, those things aren't small. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to haul this thing down into the basement and put it together. I'll take it out of the box first and take it down in parts. Super easy to move. Like shockingly easy to move. And it's just sturdy as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really like, once I got it down there, it was like kind of mad at myself. Like, I've got a rower down there too. I haven't touched the rower in 60 days probably.
Interesting.
And I, like, now looking back on like my last, several years in the basement, I wish I'd put a bike down there instead of the rower. If I could redo it, it's a sturdier piece of equipment. It does both the things that it does. What the rower does for me is, like, when you get on and you lollygag, it hurts worse than when you're lollygagging on a rower. Like, you can sit there and row forever at a slow pace on a C2 rower. I mean, I've proven that by doing the marathon row, and you can just sit there forever, and you'll get blisters and whatever, but it doesn't hurt. I mean, the blisters do, but the row doesn't hurt.
Right.
But with the bike, like, you sit there and lollygag, it still hurts. And so then you have to choose, like, well, I'll speed it up so that doesn't hurt as much, but then you blow your lungs out. So it's really kind of the perfect implement for a home gym, particularly where you're doing a lot of every minute on the minute, or kind of these, 21-15, 9 wads, or, 3 rounds for time. Like, it's absolutely perfect for that, because you just have to pick your destruction. You want to be destroyed slow, or you want to be destroyed fast? It's great.
True. Yeah. I have a friend who's a bartender, and he reached out, and he's like a 24-hour fitness kind of guy, and like old school, chest tries, whatever.
I don't know if you heard me, but I did over 1,000.
Yes, I did 1,000.
And he would go and like for his cardio, he would do, you guys in great shape, and he would do like an hour on the elliptical. I'm like, I'm telling you, you need one of our bikes. And so long story short, when quarantine happened, he had, a couple weeks off where he's like, all right, I want to buy one of the bikes. And he's just like, holy shit. Because that just told me my cardio sucks. Because you go on a stair stepper or an elliptical 45 minutes, but like prolonged versus just like John said, it's like you do a 21:15:9 or any kind of, time domain on the bike. And it's
speaking of elliptical, the only cheat I have found on the bike, and I find a cheat for everything, Tracy, everything. The only way you can cheat the bike even a little and it still hurts is to stand up. That's the only thing you can do.
You're not even cheating because you're not like ticking by calories faster. Like it's slower. Like you could do it, but it's
but you release that lactic acid from the tops of your legs. That's my point. Like you do. Like but at that point you're in elliptical mode, so you're standing up. And I know you guys can see me, but the people can't, and your arms are going. So it still sucks. Like. But it's the only.
She's right. You're slowing down.
You're slowing down. So like you might be giving yourself a break, but you're just working longer now.
Yeah, well,
it's not that much of a cheat.
Well, that's my point though about like you've got to pick your poison. Do you want to die slow or fast? Like, I'll get that thing ramped up, and I realize I've got another 15, 20 calories to go. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna stand up for 5 of them and give my legs a break. And
I'll do that sometimes too.
But man, so what kind of workouts do you do?
I do. You talking to me?
Yeah.
I do what Mike programs a lot, Assault University, and then I'll follow street parking too. So I kind of look at them like, which looks worse or which looks better? I'm like, okay, I don't feel like doing this lifting today. Okay, fine, I'll do like an endurance on the bike or something. But yeah, I do different, like he programmed something last week that I was doing. It was on the rower. I think it was 30 calories for guys, 20 calories for girls, and then 10 burpees over the rower, jumping over, and it's like that seemed like okay. It was 5 rounds. I'm like, oh, that doesn't seem bad, but it was pretty terrible.
And you don't cherry pick your own wads, like they'll go assault bike. You're like, I'm not doing that one.
No, I don't. Oh. Like there'll be certain times where I'm like, oh, do I want to do the bike? And and I had a knee issue going on, so I have not been getting on the air runner. So I've been doing a lot more bike. I've been between the air rower and the bike, but I definitely use the bike by far more. But yeah, I like the short, hard workouts. I don't like the long chippers and all that kind of stuff. I'll do them if I have to, but it's not fun.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I'm kind of with you. Well, it depends. I actually do like the longer endurance-y wads. But if you throw a bike into a long endurance wad, it all of a sudden makes it some kind of special hell that I no longer like. I like them if it's like a 40-minute wad, but it's like things that keep your heart rate relatively steady. You know what I mean? Like, but not spiked like that. Then I'm all in. And my husband is so good at those. It's like disgusting, but you can't really have one of those with one of your implements.
No, you can't. Like I'll do like even like a fight gone bad, but then I'll put like the bike or something in there, but you're doing it at a much shorter clip, right? You're talking 3 rounds and you're like, okay, I can do almost anything for 5 minutes, but when you get longer and you do get the bike in there, like when you're doing rounds and rounds of even 10 calories, like it's
a lot.
It kind of sucks the life out of you a little bit.
Totally.
No, see, I like the long endurance wads. But if I put the assault bike in it, I like it to be a partner wad because then you can have a good work to rest ratio, and like you can still rattle off 15 calories and jack your heart rate up, but then you can get off for 20, 30 seconds, let your buddy do it. And so I like to do that, but it just for me it varies. Today I did 7 minutes of burpees. That was very exciting.
No, thank you.
Guess my score.
112.
Damn, 113.
Oh, come on.
That's impressive.
Yes, 113.
Wow.
I told myself I wasn't going to do that workout. It came up in the United in Movement thing. And back in, I think it was 12.1 during the Open, it was 7 minutes of burpees. And I had only been doing CrossFit at that time for a year, but I was in pretty good cardiovascular shape. I just didn't have any strength. And that year I did 108. And so someone's like, are you going to do the 7 minutes of burpees? And I'm like, no, I don't want to be depressed that I'm, 9 years later, I'm not as fit, even though I knew that wasn't true. And then today I was working out in the basement and I was just doing strict lifting, doing 10 by 3 strict press, 10 by 3 deadlifts, and, moderately heavy or heavy for me. And I got done. I'm like, I need to do like some sort of Metcon. I'm like, I'll just do 7 minutes of burpees and just see, because I'm in the basement. Nobody will ever know. I'll never have to talk about it, And then I got into it. I got like, just a couple minutes in, I'm like, holy crap, I'm on a good pace here.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't really I never pushed the pace. Like I'm convinced I could redo it and maybe get into the 120s if I really pushed. So I feel good. I'm very proud of myself.
Look how fit you are.
I'm so fit, Nikki.
I'm
so fit.
Yeah, I'm impressed at your growth. Look, I like it.
Impressive. I
So
do not
fit.
like, if I had to choose assault bike or burpees, I 100% would take bike.
No.
No. Really?
You guys would choose burpees?
100%.
Yes. Every
yeah.
time.
I'd rather go do 100 calories on the bike
Oh,
than 100 burpees.
how long do you think 100 calories on the bike would take?
I know how long it would take.
No, stop it. How long?
Well, I've done we have this workout, the assault baseline, and it's terrible. It's like you start with 60 calories on the bike. And
I'm already out.
Right? And I can just tell you, so I'll tell you, it was 60 calories on the bike, and there's 50 air squats and 40 ab mat sit-ups, and then 30 push-ups, 20 pull-ups, and then 10 burpees for time, right? So when we did that, my best time on that was just barely under 11. I was like 10:51, and that was a couple of years ago. I'd be a lot slower now. And so the guy who programmed that, our trainer at the time, it literally took me 6 minutes to get to the 60 calories. He was done with the whole workout when I was just getting off of the bike.
I'm impressed that it took you 11 minutes. It would take me 11 minutes to get 60 calories.
No, you trust me. You can do it.
Girl. No way. Into air squats? I'd be like,
that's what's terrible, is coming off the bike and then doing 50 air squats.
You would be like, how did Nikki die? Mark the time. That's so weird. But actually, truth be told, that sounds like a really good.
Yeah, I'm going to do that WOD now.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one.
That assault baseline. You got to check it out. But it's so 100 calories. How long would that take you, John?
Oh, let me see if I can remember now. So let me give you the full story. When I started at Mentality, which is Scott Panchik's gym, I'd never really ridden an assault bike. I mean, I'd been on them, but at the gym I was at previous, they didn't really have them. They had one or two, and they never programmed them because they had so many members. Well, Scott had dozens of those things and loves programming assault bike, loves it. So I get there, and it's probably a month or so in, he programs 50 calories for time. That's the entire WOD. I'm like, how hard can this be? It's only 50 calories, and that's all I got to do is ride a bike. Okay, let's go. Mm-mm. So I get on there and I just pedal my ass off, and I think I did 50 calories in if I'm remembering right, it was like a minute 30, maybe a minute 40. It was fast for me. I'm old, but it still was fast enough. And I get off the bike. Now I'm breathing crazy heavy and my heart rate's through the roof, but you feel okay for a second. And then I stood up and I literally took 2 steps and my legs just collapsed. I had no body control. Both legs just went out from under me. I've never had that happen before. I'm like, I'm just laying on the ground like, what the hell just happened?
Wait, did you say a minute and a half?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe a minute 40.
What?
Yeah.
That's insane. And no wonder you collapsed after.
What?
Oh, it was
you, it would take me 10 minutes to do this shit.
Now, I've done 100 a couple of times, but you can't do this. You can't do that same, at 50, you rattle off 30 really fast. And then that final 20 just take forever. Yeah.
I can't rattle off 10 really fast. What world are you living in?
I can pull 30 in less than 60 seconds by going as hard as I can.
That's why you got them model legs.
Yeah, but you cannot maintain that. So 100 is I don't know. I want to say it's 4.5, maybe 5 minutes, maybe not that long even.
No way.
But you got and so I'm thinking about this baseline WOD. I want to try so bad. I'm like 60 calories. All right, knock out 60, then go try to do air squats. And you're right, Traci, those air squats after 60 calories would be absolutely brutally insane hard. I've
talked to so many guys that have done it, because the bigger guys or the bigger girls, when you're tall, you get a lot more, inertia.
Powerful
On the bike.
athletes.
Yeah, you get a lot more
Yeah.
power out of it. And so he crushed the calories on the assault baseline. He's like, how hard could this be? And he absolutely was dying for like 2 hours after.
Yikes.
I can't tell you how many WODs I've done since then, though. Once I've kind of learned where I'll be the last person off the bike, but the first person to finish, because I've learned like you don't win many workouts
Right.
on the bike because you
Right.
ruin everything else after that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like
You know,
unless you're sprinting, like if the entire workout is just, sprint for calories, then yeah, you got to kill it. But
there was one workout, it was CrossFit Games a couple of years ago. I remember Travis Williams, it was like, it was team, it was 90 calories on the bike. Do you remember that?
yeah. And this is Travis MO, 100%.
Yeah. And yeah, it was I was like scared for him after when he got off. He just looked like his eyes were rolling the back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because he was just like, I'm going to just crush this 90. And he's a strong guy. And
Yeah.
then they had all those deadlifts to do. And he was just like, it was just like what John said, that pacing, it just kind of threw them off because, the bike, you have to strategize.
When you see that happen and you're like, oh, I was worried for him, are you like, sorry, I made this for you?
Not really.
Not really. Fuck you guys. Good luck with everything. Bye.
I'm like, slow down, buddy.
Yeah, right. Learn from this.
No, but I remember in the very beginning, like when the first time we went to the CrossFit Games as a vendor was 2013, and we were doing these 1 minute challenges, and there were guys that were just, like size of a moose, and they do that 1 minute all out, and then they're just like rocked for the rest of the day. And then we're like, okay, we better, pair it back. And then we did 30 seconds, and we're like, that's still kind of wrecking people too. Like when you're going like all out, which I don't like. I'll go like, try to hold like an RPM, and that's what, that's how you can kind of like, because when you go too hard or you go too slow, you're working harder to kind of keep that up. So if you can hold an RPM is better than just trying to go all out. Because man, I start to have like a little pant. I'm like, oh my God, I can't breathe.
Yes, same.
I see some of the top athletes like get off it and they're just, rolling around on the ground going, oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah.
The worst.
So,
have I ever told you, John, about the worst CrossFit workout I've ever done in my life that haunts me to this day? I might have talked about this before on the podcast.
No, I don't think we've talked about it.
So I've been CrossFitting since 2010. OG, right? Don't know why I don't have abs. Actually, I know exactly why I don't have abs. What the fuck? Donuts. Donuts is why I don't have abs. But yeah, I've been CrossFitting for a long time, and there was a competition that I went to. I think that this was 2012 or 2013. So I had been in it for a couple years, like, relatively well versed in everything, but had never really been on a bike yet. So it was, I didn't have any in my gym, and they weren't as widespread yet. So it was new. So I go to this partner competition, and the first thing that happens is me and my partner have to weigh in. Okay. And they write your weight in Sharpie on your arm, like nice and big. So I'm already traumatized for life. I'm like hiding my arm behind me. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Please don't tell me. But the workout was, I think it was either 10 or 20 calories on the assault bike. And then you had to sled push like 50 feet down and 50 feet back or something like that. The combined weight of you and your partner.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And like, it wasn't a super heavy sled. It wasn't super long distance, and it wasn't like 20 calories on the bike. Like, okay, no big deal. And you had to do it twice. And I will never for the rest of my life, I won't forget how I felt after that workout. Didn't take long, but I didn't know the bike, and I didn't know that stimulus, and some reason sled pushing and biking is like the worst thing that's ever been hatched by anyone as an idea. And I could not recover. Like, thought I was going to throw up forever. Matt, my husband, did it too, like got off the bike and like stumbled over. It was outside. It was a photo wad, like stumbled over the grass and like into some kid's like picnic.
Oh my
like
God.
All over, like fell over into the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, like ruined these kids' picnic. It was bad.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that's terrible. We've programmed something like that in the gym before, and they were like, it was the bike, the sled. I feel like it was something else. Like we were doing a rotational, and they were getting like, some of the girls were getting like by the end, they were like having weights on there and then having a person on there, and the girls were strong and they're pushing. I'm like, I'm not doing that. You guys are way younger than me. And by the end of it, there was a few of them that if they didn't throw up, they were very impassioned for the picnic.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know it could happen. I was like, what is going on with my body right now?
I don't know what that is either. I'm sure Chris could explain it to us. I'm sure Mike G could explain it to us, but that somehow those two movements together are pretty terrible.
It's wild. Well, you guys are, speaking of Mike and Chris and all the folks that you've got doing all this programming, you guys are right now providing a lot of at-home workouts and a lot of programming for people to follow. I mean, how impactful has that been for you, given the fact that everyone is at home and looking for a program, looking for a class, looking for an option?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's really good, and to have guys of that caliber that just really know their stuff so well. We do it like the whole bottom floor of our company is a gym. So it's just a company gym, and we have everything in there. And so they all program during lunch, and we have, you know, CrossFit level 2, you know, people come in and, you know, coach class, or if you want to work out independently. So we've always had programming like that going on. But yeah, now, especially during this and it's, you know, those guys, but it's just so many people are sharing, and we get so much positive feedback, you know, from people going, oh my God, I did that. So the engagement has been really, really good. And the feedback, or someone going, hey, I did the sled and, you know, the bike, don't try that.
Please don't ever try that.
but it's like, so for us, it's something that we want, you know, to kind of give to the community, to just go, hey, here's, you know, not just the bike, but like, here's some different, you know, things you can do with it. And what's interesting is there's people buying the bike now that are not even from CrossFit. And so it's like, oh, I just need something to move. And then they don't realize, like, that's an adaptation, right? You don't just get on that and cruise for 20 minutes and just go and watch my show. And so to learn that and to go, oh my gosh, I can do such a great workout in such a short time.
Yeah. I also like that the stimulus in general from a bunch of those home WODs, like people could do, even if they don't have a bike, even if they're waiting for a bike, even if they're just like looking for something, because that's what I've been doing. Like I've been, you know, my gym owner is still programming, and that's cool, but I'm kind of like you. I'm like, well, what if I really don't want to do that today? I'm not totally sure. So I'm kind of like, I have my pages, my Instagram pages that I constantly scour to look for, like, oh, what's this person posting? And like, you know, what's Mayhem posting? And like, what are all these? And so now it's nice to have you guys as a resource, because even if I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, I don't want to get on the bike today or whatever. Okay, well, I could run, but I could do the rest of this, or I could just skip that and add a minute. But it's just nice to have another resource that is coming from a really trusted source. Because that's the other thing too, is like anyone can teach a Zoom class and anyone can program now. And you don't want to open those doors necessarily either. You want it to come from trusted sources. So it's good to have you guys for that.
Oh, well, appreciate that. And I love seeing all the programming. There are, like you said, without equipment, like so many people are posting, you know, body weight stuff and just going, you can literally do, you know, all of this, you know, without equipment, which is awesome. And I think people are really, you know, surfing Instagram and stuff and picking up some really good stuff from a lot of boxes, a lot of, you know, individual athletes putting stuff out there. And I just think it's really cool how the community is just pulling together to go, hey, this is what I have to offer. Hopefully it helps somebody.
Yeah. John keeps sending me his workouts too.
Oh,
I'm just humble bragging. That's why I send them to you.
Oh,
Just
I like that you do it. It gives me great ideas.
I just did this today.
Yeah, kind of. There's that. There's that.
I test them myself in the basement, though. That's the thing. Like, what's interesting about working out alone, and I've done this for a long time, years really. I mean, I took a year off from CrossFit and programmed for myself and worked out here. And then after training with the people I train with for so long, like I've kind of figured out the rhythm, but I'll get into it with myself and think, all right, here's what I want to try. The hard part is, you know, let's say you program something 5 rounds, you get 3 rounds in and you're like, yep, well, that was wrong. You still got 2 more rounds to go. Like, you know, so you do start to experiment and figure out what works and what doesn't work. And I'm kind of in a rhythm now where I know what works, but the assault bike has added a new wrinkle to that because like I programmed something for me and Meg's 16, and we were doing every minute on the minute. And so I had the assault bike in and I'm like, all right, it's going to be 15 calories for me, 8 calories for you. Well, I found out, and it was like a 25-minute EMOM. So, you know, it's 5 rounds or so. Well, I found out very quickly 15 calories was aggressive and 8 was going to be impossible for her. So like, you know, I'm right in the middle of the WOD going, make it 6, Meg, and I'm going to make it 10, you know, like immediately changing. And so you do start to learn like what you can and can't do.
Yeah.
But it's added that wrinkle, and oh man, and every time it just sucks. It totally sucks.
But don't you feel better like when you get off of it, no matter what you do, but like no matter if you don't feel like working out, whether it's the bike or anything else, don't you once you're done, like you're like, yeah, do you get that like kind of endorphin rush?
Oh, I get it before and after. Like of course, I'm
Yeah.
like addicted at this point. Like I have to work out. Like people
Yeah,
don't. I
same.
think the people that aren't into fitness, and I'm sure you guys are the same way. Like I just have to. Like I get up in the morning. Like today was a good example. I had a bunch of conference calls and work I needed to do, but I had some windows in there, and I was working
Yeah.
from home today. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to get up, and before the branches open, I'm going to ride 15K. And then I'm going to go lift. And then I'm going to, and so I start plugging it into the times of when, and I kind of do that each day of like figuring out, all right, where are my windows? I have to get in, one, maybe two workouts. And I base my programming based on how much time I have. So if I don't have a lot of time, it's probably going to be a 21, 15, 9 assault bike and something, because I know I can, get that in 10 to 15 minutes, and it's going to hurt like hell and improve my cardio capacity. And if I have a lot of time, it might be, I did one the other day that was 15 rounds that involved a thousand meters and 50 double unders and 20 push-ups. And, I had a lot of stuff. So, you kind of figure it out over time, but
do you do it all in one
terrible.
swoop? That does sound terrible.
Yeah.
15 rounds of anything sounds pretty terrible.
Yeah, I'm all fat.
I sent a workout to somebody the other day, and they were like, "Man, you were on a tight ship over there," because my workout had bike first, and then it literally said 1 hour break, mow the yard, and then had another workout. They're like, "Did you really program mowing the yard?" I'm like, "Yes, that's 40 minutes of pushing a mower. That's
a lot."
Yes.
Right now, my husband skipped working out because he's moving like dirt piles like into the garden area for us to like. That's a thing.
That's
like
a CrossFit
loading
workout.
Yeah, totally.
That's legit.
It absolutely is. So yeah, I try to, but I do space it out. Like I'll try to do, if I'm doing 2 a days, like we kind of all are right now, I'll do one in the morning, kind of one in the late afternoon, early evening, I don't do it too late. And then I do always feel better. For me though, it isn't about like my body feels better. It's like emotionally I feel better. I know it seems silly, but I really do.
No,
like I feel like accomplished.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the best way to put it.
The endorphin rush for me is the gateway to dinner. I'll like work out and be like, what can I eat now?
Exactly.
There's never a time where I'm not thinking about my next meal. So it's like the allowance. I'm like, on to the cookies.
Like I worked out, I deserve this.
Exactly. And that's why I don't have abs.
Here's what I do need to figure out. So I haven't, maybe you can help me with this, Tracy, or I'll have you partner up with Under Armour and have them figure it out. So I use MyFitnessPal for everything. I track all my food, all my workouts. And on the exercise portion, they do a really good job of telling you how many calories you're burning if you're biking at a rate of 16 to 20 miles per hour. But you have to do that for a long period of time to really kind of burn the calories they're telling you to burn. I need an accurate calorie burn for 15 calories. Is it really 15 calories or is it? Like that's what I need to figure out.
I'll get with Mike and I'll get back to you on that, because I guarantee you he'll know a calculation, because you're right, that the burn on that is different than if you're just riding your bike on the street or whatever.
Right. And also like calories on the bike are like energy calories. They're not like calories that you burn, or they're like similar, but they're not exact. Like it's not like you burn 15 calories and then
right. Like when you're riding and you're doing 5 rounds of 15 calories, your burn is far higher than that.
Right. Exactly. It's not, it doesn't translate like that perfectly.
No.
Yeah, well,
I used to be like 15 calories. I'm never eating an apple again. What the fuck? And it's like, no, that's not, it's energy. Not the
now
same.
we know why John's doing 15 rounds.
Right.
Well,
but it does make you think. I know it's not exactly the same, but it does make you think about the value of a calorie much more when you're like, I had to work how hard for that many? Shit.
Well,
it does when you put it in perspective.
It allows me to, like you're talking about donuts, Nikki, like because I track everything, it allows me to eat things with no guilt. And I know that sounds terrible and you shouldn't be feeling guilty about what you eat, but look, I do. Sorry, this is how I'm wired, right? So
let it go.
No, it's true. It's true. It's
like
something we all deal with.
But there's also a kind of a freeing factor of you've got everything tracked, and you know how much you burned in exercise. And then you get to the end of the evening, and when, my baby girl goes, "Hey daddy, let's go get ice cream," I can look at my phone and go, "Let's do it."
Yeah,
Because
let's go.
I got enough calories left over, so there is like some of that. And that's why I need like the OCD in me. Like I just need this accurate
You need to
calorie
know how
count.
much ice cream that just got you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like a 15 calorie burn on the assault bike's worth at least a scoop, at least.
Yeah. I would say. Yeah.
Or a
Maybe
couple
don't take the nutritional advice from me though.
Yeah, or a couple of donuts. I don't know.
Yeah.
So Tracy, what does your like immediate future look like? I mean, everything feels so uncertain right now, but obviously,
It looks like this room.
oh, it looks like working from home. Yeah. Like what are
Yeah.
you guys doing right now are you thinking at all about when this passes and how you get back to the new normal, or are you just kind of like plugging along day by day?
It's both. I mean, we're always strategizing. We're always working on, various equipment and improvements. But really for us, like you guys too, right? We go to a lot of events. So all of the fitness events, our marketing department, that part of it has been what's probably been the most on hold is, what is that looking like, and what our future events gonna look like, right? Or how long are we gonna, I think we're going to start to see some loosening of this, self quarantining. I see, cities like New York City, LA, I'm in San Diego County, they're saying May 15th. I know there's not going to be some magical date where, it just, disappears and, we all go about our business. I think, but they're going to have to, can't just stay like this, for the economy and for so many other, for people, from various industries. So for us, I mean, we're doing what we normally do, which is manufacturing and distributing and shipping equipment. So none of that has really changed for us during that. It's just the locale with everybody, working from home. But getting back to the fitness events, that's where, I'm, and you can't really plan for that, right? Like we see what's happening with the CrossFit Games. There's going to be no audience. It's, you know what I mean? That's where we are right now. How about for you?
Are you getting ready to ship a whole bunch of bikes to the ranch? Do you have inside intel we don't know about?
No, and you know what's funny? We seriously never get any inside. I have it's like literally last minute.
That does not surprise me. Like
I know.
Dave
And I love
programming
that.
is secret for everyone.
And I love that, and I totally respect, how tight-lipped that he is able to keep that. I think it's pretty awesome.
It's masterful.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
No, I mean,
what about you?
Here, it's so sad. Well, I mean, the whole state of the world is sad, right? So like priorities, but just in me and my first world problems here, like it's a bummer that these events that I was really looking forward to being at for work, and the sanctionals world has opened up so many more opportunities for us in the media team to travel and this sounds silly, but like to see each other, because the media team, like we are all such a close-knit family, and we only see each other a couple times a year, so it's like this big emotional reunion every time we get a chance to work an event. So honestly, the hardest part for me is not being able to like see my little family like that. And at the events that we were planning on, and obviously games is like, it's like going to summer camp for us. It's a lot of work. Like I cannot stress enough how much work event life is. This. I mean, it's 14-hour days and everything is on fire constantly. You're just putting out fires left and right. And so it's like a high emotional toll, high stress, high everything situation. But I'm kind of in the same boat as you, where like I'm sad that for myself and for my career, and also for sappy emotional reasons, I won't be able to be at these events. I mean, John and I, we were like finally planning on being at events together this year. We don't have photos together, you guys.
Oh no!
Like we have been in the same place like 3 times. Period.
Here, just lean to the right a little, and I'll
just
lean in closer.
take a picture right here. Hey.
Yes.
But like, we were planning on doing a lot. And so obviously like you got to put it in perspective, because there's way bigger fish to fry and bigger problems in the world. And I'm glad that we're healthy and able to do this. And that's really important. But I'm just kind of like you. I'm figuring out as things are lifted, like, are we going to host more events with no spectators? Do I get to work at them? Are we going to do are we going to spread them out? So like, 50 people go on Friday, 50 people go.
Right.
Even when they lift barriers to social distancing, like we're still not going to be able to bring 1,000 people to a place.
Yeah.
It's still going to be like, all right, now groups of 10 are cool. Now groups of 50 are cool. Now whatever. So I'm just waiting here.
You don't, yeah. And there's some normalcy in that, right? Like of going to the events, like as you're
Yeah.
saying, they're 14-hour days or long days. There's a lot of prep leading up to it, but there's just some normal. I mean, for the past few years, I've traveled quite a bit.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden to be like, oh, where, you know what I mean? That's a different,
Totally.
it's a different look. And, you know, and I've met so many people, and then same thing. You see those people a few times a year, but they become, you know, your close knit friends. And, you know, I know so many people that are first responders too, that, you know, and I get teary thinking about those guys every day out there, whether it's doctors, nurses, you know, firefighters, all those people. And it's just, man, they're, like you said, we're talking events, but there's so many people out there that literally leave their house for the greater good of other people, are out there trying to help save lives and exposing themselves, you know, and they have families at home and stuff. And so I try to just kind of focus on that and go, you know what, we're so fortunate, trying to do my part of just social distancing and doing what we can, you know, through the company in the best capacity we can.
That's important because, you know, every so often I find myself being like, God, I just miss the gym. Like, I just want to like go hang out with my friends. I want to go get a cocktail at my favorite restaurant. I'm like, shit, there's plenty of people who are out there every single day on the front lines of this. And you hear the numbers of people who are sick and dying. And it's like, well, you know what? Fuck that cocktail. I guess I'm just going to suck it up and stay home because it's not that bad for me.
I'm like dying because I haven't got my nails done, right? And it's like, then you
Girl,
go, that's so...
don't even... I gotta breathe. Like, it's been, like, that has been a tough adjustment.
I don't even want to complain about that. Yep. That's the first time I even said it publicly, but I'm just like, but at the same time, you just go, you know what? There's so much more going on, and this is so important that we, you know, are doing what we're doing. And I don't know what the right answer is, because really you can't just keep doing this. You know, at some point we all sort of have to, it's going to permeate through, you know, the community and the population so that they can come up with, you know, a vaccine and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's no perfect way. We just have to get through it as mentally and physically healthy as we can.
Well, I've never been mentally healthy, so I don't know how that'll work out.
There's always time.
I'm a little bummed about the games. I'm trying to keep everything in perspective. I mean, I have a coworker a woman who works for me who has the virus.
Oh man.
And people have said from the beginning, oh, this is just like the flu. Trust me, as someone who talks to, you know, this person on almost a daily basis, this is not the flu. Like, and that's why I try to keep in perspective. Like, I would have loved to have gone to the games. I would have loved to take the podcast, and Nikki and I'd have some fun and to get to hang out in the assault booth and do all the stuff I did last year. But you know, people are really dying. Like, it's really, really happening. And this is a vicious, vicious disease. Like, you know, even the people that are surviving it, and my employee is surviving it. And it looks like she's going to be okay. But man, like, I've never seen anything like this. Like, I've seen people sick before. I've never seen this. And it's just tough. I think it's really tough on everyone. And hopefully, you know, to your point, there's probably no completely right answer here, but we'll pull through it. You know, I think our country's been through a lot worse than this. It doesn't seem like it to all of us, because, you know, we're relatively young and, you know, haven't had a lot of horrible events in our life, but you know, I think we'll pull through this just fine. It'll just take a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll be back in 2021 going to Madison and cheering Matt Frazier for his 6th title or whatever it's going to be, you know.
That's accurate. Yep.
Yeah, it's true. We just, you know, it's perspective every day, right? And we all wake up and have good days and bad days, and you just kind of align your perspective and just go, hey, you know, we got this.
I know when this is over, I'm going to buy more toilet paper. I know that.
Are you running short?
No, I like the what a manufactured thing is so dumb. Like, every time I go to the grocery store, it's still gone, and I still have plenty. And I've got the same 12-pack roll I bought 4 months ago. You know, it's like, nobody poops that much. Come on, it's like
we might need to address a greater problem. That's, you know what I mean?
Seriously, it's like, I don't understand it. I don't understand why all this stuff disappeared. But, you know,
well, because coronavirus gives you the shits, didn't you know?
Right. Shitty disease.
Some people really think that now.
Well,
I'm serious.
They do, but I'm like,
really?
Yes. Some people are like, oh my God, toilet paper's gone. Coronavirus must give you the runs.
Oh my God.
I know. It's so silly.
It was kind of crazy in the beginning when people were just like, and I don't know, I shop at Costco. I have plenty as well.
Yeah, we're on the subscribe and save from Amazon, so we always have like a good back stock too. You know what I can't find anywhere? Anywhere. And if anyone knows where I can find this, please, dear Lord, I can't find fucking flour anywhere.
Oh, like to bake?
Yeah, like
I know, it's crazy how the baking aisle is wiped out. It is crazy.
I just
had
want
to borrow powdered
unbleached
sugar
flour.
from a friend.
Unbleached all-purpose flour, please. Dear Lord, I've been baking bread like a good housewife, and I can't find flour.
Oh man, no Amazon.
Nothing, nowhere, zero places.
Well, I've been buying a lot of food on Amazon. You can get great stuff on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Great stuff, but yeah, flour's probably hard. That would be a hard one to ship because it's heavy. But
yeah, the times I've gone to the grocery store though, it's literally the baking aisle is certain aisles are totally full and certain are wiped out, and the baking aisle is one that's just gone. Sugar, flour, none of that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm not making fun of the virus, but I wish the grocery stores could stay the way they are now after this thing goes away, because it's so easy to get in and out of Whole Foods right now.
Yeah, I know, right?
So easy. So easy.
Are they lining up and spacing and only letting a certain
Mm-hmm.
number of people? Yeah. I've had friends that said that too, like at Trader Joe's, saying the same thing, going, oh my God, it's so nice. You wait in line, it's not that bad. And then once you get in, you just like, oh, I have the store almost to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I went to Whole Foods on a Friday night a couple of weeks ago, and I was in and out of there in 15 minutes. There was no one there. Friday night. I couldn't believe it. Place was like dead. It was great. I'm like, man, it's like somebody called in a bomb threat. I might do that every time before I go to Whole Foods moving forward.
Lord.
Well, you know, people's buying habits have probably changed during this, where people are ordering online and going, oh, this is actually convenient.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like where they might keep that up. So maybe the stores won't be as busy online or doing the pickup, you know, where they do curbside. I do think that with fitness equipment too, like I think all the people adapting to working out at home are probably going to go, oh, I'm actually saving drive time there and back. And you know what I mean? Like they're adapting to this new habit.
Yeah, you know, I wonder, and we'll make this the last question because I know we've kept you here for a while, Traci, but like looking ahead and knowing that some gyms, some CrossFit gyms are not going to survive this. Like some probably wanted a way out and some just, you know, didn't set themselves up in a proper business manner. And we talked about that in our last episode. John gave good like dad advice of like, think about how to run your business. But given the fact that like I'm sure a good amount of your company sales rely on gyms who stock multiple pieces of equipment, you know, if they don't come back or if other gyms don't open, I mean, does that affect your long term, you think?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely can because because you're right. Like you sell an individual, you know, one or two pieces, and obviously a gym will buy 6, 10, 20, just depending. So yeah, that will definitely have an impact. And, you know, it's just hard to say because there's just going to be some attrition, even with, you know, some of the bigger companies. I saw 24-Hour Fitness is contemplating if they're going to have to file bankruptcy. And, you know, it's a big company. So, but you just adjust. I mean, we're a small company, we're nimble, and you just, you know, you figure out different, you know, methods and channels to sell and support everybody that you can. You know, I'm hopeful that things like United and Movement, what CrossFit is doing, truly helps, you know, these, you know, a lot of these CrossFit gyms stay open and keep their membership and, you know, keep their members there. I know they're trying to give, you know, Zoom classes and everything they can to give people, you know, what they're paying for. So I'm truly hopeful that all of that can kind of buy some time to get everybody through this difficult time.
You know, Glassman loves a good lawsuit, and I hope we'll give him some dad advice because he needs some dad advice. I don't know if Glassman needs to do this. I don't know if it's your company or maybe all you guys need to get together, but I do think that the fitness industry needs to start petitioning Congress to make gyms an essential business. And here's why. Like they've already found out through the data, they're finding out with the coronavirus that less people, the fit people are dying at a much, much, much lower rate than the obese people.
Yeah.
And I'm not making fun of people that are obese, but they're already finding out the science of, oh my God, who knew if you're fit, your body protects itself better. Like, you know, and so I do think like, you know, now you're shutting off this, you know, this this valve for people. Like my dad's 75 and he goes to the gym and now he's having to work out at home. And fortunately, like he's driven like no one you've ever met. So he keeps doing it. But like a normal
Yeah.
75-year-old would be like, screw it. I just won't ever go back, you know?
Right.
And I think
It's
you
true.
need that for people. So I'd love to see the fitness industry, and I'm sure somebody's ahead of this already, but I'd love
Someone
to
I
see
did.
them.
I read something about that there was a CrossFit box that was actually petitioning in their area or their city. I think it was in the U.S. to say that it was an essential business for a multitude of reasons like that. In fact, I have a good friend who's a lieutenant with the NYPD, and he was saying, he goes, because I was like, look, what can we do to help you during this? And he's like, stay home. He goes, but
Mhm.
after this, I would love to talk to you, because really what we need to do, because like almost 20% of their force is affected by this, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, is we need to work on getting our guys healthier.
Yeah.
And, so it's to your point, John, that, I think these gyms should be an essential business because they truly are. I mean, and there are some fit people that are affected, or younger people, but
Yeah.
for the most part, healthier people are able to recover. So,
Yeah, there
and
have been some really good articles our friends over at the Morning Chocolate have written recently about sort of like the back and forth, like the pros and cons of that. Because you're right, like in a sense, yes, they are essential and help with physical health, mental health, the health of the people
Right.
who are on the front lines here, and that's
yeah,
it's a life-saving space. That at the same time, the way I think about it now is like closing essential businesses, and I've got like the air quotes going,
yeah,
is only for everyone's safety right now. So like regardless of the
right.
fact that they're keeping you healthier, which might help you fight the virus if you get it, chances are if we keep letting 10, 20, 30 people in the gym at a time all day, every day, we're not going to stop
Yeah.
the spread of this thing. So it's like,
Yeah.
I see both sides of it. But like, having them gyms like here in the state of Rhode Island are going to be in phase 1 of the reopening process. So like, that's
Oh,
one of the
okay.
first businesses that will be allowed to open. I think that's a good
Oh,
step.
that's good.
That's
That is
showing that
great.
it'll be like, I don't remember, banks and this and
Yeah.
this and private gyms. So
Yeah. Oh, that's good to hear. That's really
yeah.
good. And I think it's going to change the protocol and probably the sanitary ways that gyms do
Yes.
clean after anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not really, like, even when they open it back up, whether it's rolling or just all at once, we're not going to stop the spread of it. All what this whole purpose
Right.
is to really is, as they keep saying, flatten the curve, but it's going to get out there. They're just trying to, we just
Exactly.
don't want to overwhelm healthcare. So yeah, I think it's good to hear that Rhode Island is already kind of working on gyms and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think other states are. And once they do that, then people will follow suit.
Totally.
I think little by little, they go, hey,
Yeah.
what about us?
Yeah.
So,
Hey,
however
over
we can
here.
support that. Yeah, exactly.
Nikki, I think I need to end every episode with dad advice like this. I think it's
I would love that.
dad tips with John.
Yeah.
I like it. That's our latest segment. Sponsored
Yes.
by.
Yeah, exactly.
Now for this dad tip.
Yeah. Well, Traci, thank you. This has been so much fun.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It was really nice to talk to you guys. And Nikki, finally, good to meet you. I've seen you through the years, and I've not officially met you. And I felt like I already knew you, and you're so friendly. And
Same.
yeah.
And I feel like John, all the games last year, kept being like, I'm at the assault tent, come see me. And I was like, I have 17 jobs. I'm sorry. but yeah, no, this was good.
I can make it.
Yeah. I'll see you in 14 hours. I know. I feel like I'm meeting more people on Zoom and catching up with more people on Zoom these days than I ever normally would.
Kind of
so
funny.
It's perfect.
Yeah. I know.
As we're sitting here, I came up with a commercial for Assault Bike, by the way.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna give it to you, Traci, and you need to tell your marketing team, this is it. No, this is it. Okay. This is it. It's like, do you want to be fit and do you hate yourself? Buy Assault Bike. I think that's great. It's short, it's sweet. It fully describes
right to the point.
Yeah, it fully describes the product. Like everything is perfect.
You can't really say it about anything else. Like true. I can't think of anything else that third line would be.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring it to the marketing team tomorrow. We have a meeting.
Amazing.
Tell them.
Amazing.
Tell them. Yes. It's going to work.
Dad advice from John.
Dad advice from John.
Dad advice from John.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Nikki, go do your bath salts.
Yes, I will. Thank you very much.
And we appreciate everybody listening, and have a good evening.